In this second tutorial on creating levels in Greenfoot, I'm just going to mention a few things you may need to be aware of when creating separate levels in your game. In this particular version of the Asteroids game, the Starfighter game, I've got two levels. I've got Space and Space 2. But on the second level, different things have to happen. Let's just have a quick run through. So I've just fixed the game at the moment so that there's only one asteroid, so it should be fairly easy to get to level 2. So let's kill it off. Okay, so it stops at this point, shows the score. I've put in S to go to the next level, and on the next level the background's moving, so I've done some different things and it's slightly larger, but everything else works much the same as it does on the others. What we need to look at here is, because each of both the asteroids and the rocket do different things in the second level, I need to know within my game what level I'm on. So I've got the same class, rocket, and the same class for asteroid in both games, but they do slightly different things in each level. So first off, what I'll do is I need to create a flag so that it says what level I'm on. And what I've done to do that, there's a number of ways of doing it, but this is the way I've chosen. I've created what's called a static instance variable in the space world. Let's have a look at what static means first while we look at that. The word static basically means that, and it applies to both a method if you make it static, or in this case an instance variable, it's available to any object. You don't need to create an object, a reference to a particular class to use it. You can just use the particular variable. So I've created a variable called int level. It's an integer and it just says level 1 to whatever it's going to hold in there. And I can refer to that from the asteroids class, from the rocket, any object at all can refer to it. How you refer to a static field is, instead of referring to an object, you have to prefix it with the class name. So I've got this static field called level, which is an integer. If I want to refer to it, and I'm defining it in the class called space, and if I want to change it, let's say I was in the rocket class, I just put the word space at the beginning, and it tells the compiler I want to get to the instance variable called level, I want to do something with it. Let's just see this in the actual code. So I've actually set it up in this first level called space, this one here, and all I've done is create a static instance variable, and I've just set it to level 1, and then later on I will change it to level 2. But let's see how you refer to it. So that's in the class space. I can then use that and access that in my other classes. For example, in rocket. Now rocket does different things depending on whether it's running in level 1 or level 2. Let's just go down and have a look at what I use it for. Let's just enlarge that a little. So in the act method, so I'm in the rocket now, the Starfighter, whatever you want to call it, and I check what level I'm in. And once again, I refer to the instance variable called level. So this is the instance variable I created in the space class. It was created in the space class on the right, but I'm referring it in my rocket. And I'll simply say, well, if it's exactly equal, that simply means if it's equal to 1 in Java, then I call one method for finishing that level. Otherwise, I'm just assuming it's set to level 2, I call something completely different. The reason I have to do that is that, well, let's have a look at this code. So let's look at level 1 over, which is called if the instance variable is set to 1. So if I go down and look at level 1 over, the reason I had to create two versions and why I couldn't just have one game over method is that to check that level 1's over, the game has to check that all the asteroids have been deleted. So what I need to do is I've got to refer to the current world I'm in. Now on the first version of the game, when you first play it, you're in the space world. So as you can see from this code in level 1 over method, I check to see that I'll get all the asteroids that are in that world. It wouldn't work obviously if I'm in space 2 in the second level, because it's a completely different set of asteroids. So the second method checks to see have I got rid of all the asteroids in the second world. That's basically it. and it calls over. So basically I've got two methods. Based on what level I'm in, I either check the space world, the first level, see what asteroid's in, and choose that version of its game over method. If I'm in the second level, then I check the asteroids are missing from the second world. So there's a few other things you may need to do. You've got to consider, for example, on in asteroids, when you check collisions, because you're removing different things, you also have to check this level. For example, I'm in the asteroids class. You can see I'm checking the level again, this instance variable, this static, which I'm referring to in space, and I'm basically checking to see, because I do different things, if the asteroid is hit in this one or it's hit in the second one. I'm not going to go through all the code because how you write your game may change. The only other thing I want to mention is in space 2, this is where I just set the level. I just say where the level is. You can just see. So I use the same thing, open up space 2, and the first thing, or one of the first things I do in this level, is I go to the instance variable, which is held in the first space, this one here, and I just check. Let's go back again, and I just set it to 2. So any of my other objects, which are checking the levels, will know that it's now at level 2. So that's basically it. Just so to summarize, if you need to do separate different things based in what level you're on, then what I suggest, but there's different ways of doing it, is in one class, your space class, the first one, you set up a static variable, set it to level 1, and then you can refer to that variable, and if you like, change it in any of your other code. Because it's a static, you don't need to, let's get that open, because it's static, you can refer to it. So I'm now in the rocket class, and I'm now referring to that static and just checking to see what level I'm at. And then if you need to change things and do different things with different objects, you know where you are. Okay, good luck with your coding.